Look at the bottom of your foot right now. If you see thick yellow patches, deep cracks in your heel, or your toenails have turned a color that makes you hide your feet in summer, you're not alone. 87% of adults over 65 have at least one foot problem that's quietly getting worse every single day. And the frustrating part, most of these problems share one hidden root cause that nobody explains to you. Here's what caught my attention. Two of the cheapest ingredients you probably already have, castor oil and baking soda, when combined in the right way, create something your feet have been starving for, not separately, together, because each one does something the other can't. And I've ranked 8 common foot problems from least severe to the one that affects nearly every single person over 60. Each one gets its own specific way to use this mixture. Not the same method for everything. Different problems need different approaches. But before we get into it, there's a mistake almost everyone makes. They grab castor oil, slap it on their feet, put on socks and go to sleep, and then wonder why nothing changes. That approach skips the most critical step. Baking soda has to go first for a very specific reason I'll explain in a moment. Let's get into it. Number 8. Foot odor that won't go away no matter what you do. You wash your feet every day, you change your socks, you've tried powders, sprays, those charcoal insoles, and still by the end of the day your shoes smell like something died in them. This isn't a hygiene problem, this is a bacteria problem, and after 60 it gets worse for a reason nobody tells you. As you age, the skin on your feet loses its ability to regulate moisture properly. Your sweat glands don't shut off like they used to, so your feet stay damp longer. And bacteria don't care how clean you are. They feed on moisture and dead skin cells. That's their entire diet, and they produce sulfur compounds as waste. That's the smell. Here's where baking soda does something brilliant. It shifts the pH of your skin from acidic to alkaline. Bacteria that cause foot odor thrive in acidic environments. When you change the pH, you're not masking the smell, you're cutting off their food supply. Then the castor oil seals the skin so it stays protected longer. How to use it for this one specifically? Mix 1 tablespoon of baking soda with half a tablespoon of castor oil until it forms a thick paste. Rub it between your toes and across the sole of your foot. Leave it for 15 minutes, then rinse with warm water and dry completely. Do this 3 times a week. Most people notice the difference by day 2 or 3. Number 7. That rough sandpaper-like feeling on the bottom of your feet. You know the one. You run your hand across the sole of your foot, and it feels like the surface of a rock. Your socks catch on it, the sheets catch on it. Sometimes you can actually see the skin flaking off in small white pieces. This happens because after 50, your skin produces less natural oil, much less. The technical term is sebaceous gland decline. Your body literally stops lubricating the skin on your feet the way it did when you were younger, so the outer layer dries out, hardens, and builds up faster than your body can shed it. Baking soda acts as a gentle chemical exfoliant. It dissolves the protein bonds between dead skin cells. Think of it like loosening the mortar between bricks. Once those bonds weaken, the dead layer lifts away easily. Then castor oil, which has an unusually low molecular weight for a natural oil, penetrates deep into the fresh skin underneath and restores moisture from within, not just sitting on top like most lotions. For this problem, dissolve 2 tablespoons of baking soda in a basin of warm water. Soak your feet for 10 minutes. Then dry them and immediately massage a thin layer of castor oil into the soles. Put on cotton socks and sleep with them. In the morning, the difference in how your feet feel will genuinely surprise you. Number 6. Fungal infections between your toes and that persistent itching. This one affects more people than you think. Studies show that roughly 50% of adults over 60 have some form of fungal foot infection. Half. And most of them don't even realize it because they think the itching and peeling between their toes is just dry skin. It's not dry skin. Fungus thrives in the warm, moist environment between your toes. It feeds on keratin, which is the protein your skin is made of. And here's the thing that makes it tricky. Fungus prefers an acidic environment. Your skin's natural pH sits around 5.5, which is slightly acidic. Perfect conditions for fungus to grow and spread. Baking soda disrupts this completely. A study published in Mycopathologia showed that sodium bicarbonate effectively suppresses fungal growth by raising the pH, and castor oil contains something called undecylenic acid, which has recognized antifungal properties. Together, you're attacking the fungus from 2 different angles. The baking soda changes the environment so fungus can't thrive, and the castor oil directly interferes with its ability to spread. For fungal infections between the toes, make a paste with equal parts baking soda and castor oil. Apply it directly between each toe with a cotton swab. Don't rub it in aggressively, just place it there. Leave it for 20 minutes. then rinse and dry thoroughly. This is critical. You must dry between every single toe. Moisture left behind feeds the fungus you just attacked. Do this daily for at least 2 weeks. Fungal infections are stubborn. They don't disappear in 3 days, but the itching and burning usually calm down within the first week. And by the way, if you don't have castor oil at home, I've put a link in the pinned comment to the exact cold-pressed castor oil I recommend from Amazon. Make sure it's cold-pressed and hexane-free. That matters because the extraction method preserves the active compounds, especially the ricinoleic acid, which is the main reason this oil works for inflammation and fungus. Number 5. Swollen feet and ankles that make your shoes feel 2 sizes too small. This is the one that scares people. You wake up and your feet look puffy. By the afternoon, your ankles are swollen. Your shoes that fit perfectly last year are now painfully tight, and you start wondering if something is seriously wrong. Now, I need to be straight with you. Persistent swelling can be a sign of something that requires medical attention. Cardiovascular issues, kidney problems, medication side effects. If your swelling is new or severe, please see your doctor. That's not optional. But for the everyday mild swelling that comes with age, reduced circulation, spending long hours sitting or standing, this mixture helps through a specific mechanism. Ricinoleic acid, which makes up about 90% of castor oil, has been shown in multiple clinical studies to reduce inflammation by inhibiting the same pathways that produce swelling. Think of it as turning down the volume on your body's inflammatory response in that specific area. For swollen feet, warm the castor oil slightly, not hot, just warm enough that it flows easily. Mix 1 tablespoon of warm castor oil with half a teaspoon of baking soda. Massage it into your feet and ankles using upward strokes, always upward, toward your heart. This follows the direction of lymphatic drainage and helps move the excess fluid. Wrap your feet in warm towels for 20 minutes after applying. Do this in the evening before bed. One thing I want you to notice: each problem gets a different method. Different ratio, different application technique, different timing. That's not accidental. Your feet have different tissues, different pH levels, and different needs in each zone. Number 4. Calluses and corns that feel like you're walking on pebbles. Calluses are your body's defense mechanism. When one spot on your foot gets constant pressure and friction, your skin builds up thick layers of keratin to protect itself. It's actually intelligent engineering. The problem is, after 60, this process goes into overdrive. The calluses get thicker, harder, and eventually painful. The balls of your feet, the sides of your big toe, the bottom of your heel, these are the spots where pressure concentrates. And once a callus gets thick enough, it creates its own pressure point. You're essentially walking on a rock that your own body built. Most people attack calluses with pumice stones and metal foot scrapers. They grind away at them aggressively, and it works temporarily. But within 2 weeks, the callus comes back even thicker, because you removed the protection, so your body panics and rebuilds it faster. Here's the smarter approach. Baking soda softens the callus from a chemical level. It breaks down the bonds between those compacted dead skin layers. It's not scraping, it's dissolving the glue. Then castor oil penetrates the softened area and delivers moisture to the living skin underneath. This sends a signal to your body that says the skin is already protected. Slow down the keratin production. Dissolve 3 tablespoons of baking soda in warm water. Soak your feet for 15 minutes. Now, while the skin is still soft, very gently use a pumice stone. Gentle, just a few light strokes. Then apply castor oil directly to the calloused areas. Put on cotton socks. The difference after 1 week of doing this every other day is remarkable. The calluses thin gradually, instead of being ripped off and rebuilt. Number 3. Heel pain that hits you the moment your feet touch the floor in the morning. You know this feeling, that first step out of bed. It's like stepping on a nail, a sharp stabbing pain right in the center of your heel. It eases up after you walk around for a few minutes, but it's there every single morning like clockwork. This is usually plantar fasciitis. The thick band of tissue that runs along the bottom of your foot from your heel to your toes gets inflamed, and it's incredibly common after 60. The natural fat pad under your heel gets thinner with age. Less cushioning means more impact directly on the tissue. Castor oil's ricinoleic acid has been compared to capsaicin in its anti-inflammatory mechanism, but without the burning sensation. A study in the European Journal of Pharmacology described it as a capsaicin-like non-pungent anti-inflammatory agent. When applied repeatedly to inflamed tissue, it reduces the production of substance P, which is one of your body's main pain-signaling compounds. For heel pain, warm the castor oil to a comfortable temperature. Mix 2 tablespoons with 1 teaspoon of baking soda. The baking soda here serves a different purpose. It acts as a mild carrier that helps the oil penetrate through the thicker heel skin. Apply this mixture generously to the entire heel area. Then wrap your heel with plastic wrap. and put on a sock over it. Do this before bed and leave it overnight. The wrapping creates an occlusive environment. That means the oil can't evaporate. It's forced to absorb deeper into the tissue. People who do this consistently for 1 to 2 weeks often report that the morning stabbing pain reduces significantly. Number 2. Toenail fungus that has been there for years. This is the one nobody wants to talk about. You look at your toenails and they're thick, yellow, sometimes brown. They crumble at the edges. They're almost impossible to cut, and you haven't worn open-toed shoes in years because of it. Toenail fungus affects approximately half of all adults over 60. Half. And it's so stubborn because the fungus lives underneath and inside the nail plate. Most topical treatments sit on the surface and never reach the actual infection. Here's something important. I'm not going to tell you this mixture will cure severe toenail fungus in 3 days. That would be dishonest. Toenail fungus takes months to fully resolve because nails grow slowly. What this mixture does is create an inhospitable environment for the fungus, while the new healthy nail grows in. Baking soda creates an alkaline barrier on and around the nail. The fungus can't spread as aggressively in alkaline conditions, and castor oil, with its undecylinic acid content, adds a direct antifungal layer. Plus, the oil's deep penetrating ability helps it get under the nail edge better than water-based treatments. The method here is very specific. First, file the surface of the affected toenail gently with a nail file, not aggressively, just enough to create tiny surface channels. This allows the mixture to penetrate better. Then make a thick paste of 2 parts baking soda to 1 part castor oil. Apply it to the entire nail and the skin immediately around it. Cover with a bandage. Do this every night before bed. In the morning, remove it, clean the nail, and let it breathe during the day. Consistency is everything with this one. You won't see dramatic results in a week, but after 4 to 6 weeks, many people notice the new nail growing in at the base. Looks clearer and healthier. The old damaged nail gradually grows out and gets trimmed away. And here's a mistake I see constantly. People start seeing improvement and then stop. The fungus isn't gone just because the nail looks better. You need to continue until the entire nail has been replaced by healthy growth. That can take 4 to 6 months for a big toenail. Number 1. Deep heel cracks that bleed and hurt with every step. This is the most common foot problem after 60, and it's also the one this mixture works best for. The evidence is strongest here because it addresses every single factor that causes cracked heels. Your heels crack because of 3 things happening simultaneously. First, the natural fat pad under your heel is thinning. You have less cushioning, so more mechanical stress on the skin. Second, your skin produces less oil, so the outer layer dehydrates and becomes rigid. Third, every time you step, your body weight pushes outward on the heel, expanding it. When the skin is stiff and dry, it can't stretch, so it splits, and those splits can go deep enough to reach living tissue and bleed. Cracked heels aren't cosmetic, they're entry points for bacteria. An open crack on your heel is essentially an open wound on the part of your body that touches the ground. For anyone with diabetes or compromised circulation, this can become dangerous quickly. This is where the castor oil and baking soda combination truly shines. Baking soda dissolves the dead, hardened skin that lines the crack. It cleans the crack from inside. Think of it as gently clearing debris from a wound. Then castor oil floods the area with ricinoleic acid, which does 3 things at once. It reduces the inflammation around the crack, it kills bacteria that may have entered, and it deeply moisturizes the new skin forming at the base of the crack. The protocol for deep heel cracks is the most involved, but it works. Start by soaking your feet in warm water with 2 tablespoons of baking soda for 15 minutes. This softens everything. Then very gently with a soft cloth, wipe the surface of the cracks. Don't pick at them, don't use a blade, just a soft cloth. Now apply a generous amount of castor oil directly into each crack. Use your finger to gently press the oil into the fissure. Then apply a second layer over the entire heel surface. Wrap with plastic wrap tightly. Put on a thick cotton sock. Go to sleep. In the morning, unwrap and rinse with warm water. Do this every single night. Here's what happens. By day 2 or 3, the edges of the crack start softening. The rigid, sharp borders that catch on everything become less angry. By day 5, the shallow cracks begin closing visibly. The deeper ones take longer, usually 2 to 3 weeks of consistent application. One crucial warning. If your heel cracks have any signs of infection, redness spreading outward, warmth, pus, or increasing pain, stop home treatment and see a doctor immediately. An infected heel crack in someone over 60 is not something to experiment with. Now here's something nobody mentions about foot care after 60 that ties all of this together. Your feet change shape as you age. The ligaments loosen, the arch drops. The foot actually gets wider and longer. This means shoes that fit you 5 years ago might be creating pressure points you don't even realize. Those pressure points contribute to every single problem on this list. Calluses form at pressure points. Fungus thrives where shoes squeeze toes to heels crack when they bear uneven weight. So while you're working on these 8 problems with the mixture, do yourself one additional favor. Get your feet measured. Not at a regular shoe store, at a proper fitting. Many people over 60 are wearing shoes that are a full size too small and have no idea. Your feet carried you everywhere your entire life. Every mile you walked, every staircase you climbed, every floor you stood on while raising your family, cooking meals, doing your job. They did all of that without complaint. Maybe it's time to give them 30 minutes of attention before bed. A basin of warm water, some baking soda, some castor oil, and a little patience. Start with whichever problem bothers you the most. Try the specific method for that one. Give it 3 days for the surface level problems, 2 weeks for fungal issues, and a full month for the deeper damage. Then look at your feet and notice what changed. And if someone you know has been dealing with cracked heels or toenail problems and hasn't found anything that works, maybe share this with them. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the ones we overlook because we think they can't possibly be enough. But your feet don't need expensive creams or complicated treatments. They need the right compounds applied the right way consistently. That's it. That's the whole secret.